mercy, it has been a day. I spent all day working on my mech and filming, and then I went to edit the video, and it turns out that my microphone wasn't working properly. So all my audio was just camera mic, which sucks, but you know, normally I'd be like, whatever, daily vlogs, just roll with it. But the thing is, it happened on the same day that they were doing a bunch of road work on my street right outside of my house. The whole day while I was working and recording, my whole house was vibrating and shaking to the point it gave me a massive migraine. So all of the audio, all of the bits of me vlogging my process, unfortunately sound like this. Cool. Anyway, before I even continued working on the mech, I came to the realization that all of my bits that I've always kept on sprue was kind of impractical. I always thought that this would be the best way to store things and the best way to find things, but I realized while working on this thing that I was much more creative when I could actually just grab a bit and hold it up and move it around. And if I looked at something on a sprue, I don't know, I might be more reluctant to try it because I'd have to clip it out. So I decided to actually just clip out a ton of my bits ahead of time so that I could get them together. Now, obviously I didn't do my whole collection, but I got a lot. And I think this just makes a much more, I don't know, intuitive way of finding pieces. Plus, like, this sound is so good. I also added a few pieces before I even started filming. I put in this big vent, creating kind of like a butt vent, which makes sense because in the game you actually vent heat, and I don't know, it just fit. And then these little pipes just kind of fit going the other way, and I kind of made like a weird peener cannon. So I don't know, I like it. So yeah, I really liked the way the top of this thing looked, but I didn't like the way it was fitting with the legs. Those Gundam legs were really looking like Gundam legs, specifically because they had all that sculpted musculature, and it didn't quite look, I don't know, it didn't quite match the top. So I had to deal with that. So I busted out a Dremel and I just started sanding away those bumps. Now, I didn't know if this was gonna work. Like, I had a feeling it would, but I really didn't know how structurally sound things would be after sanding away this material. It actually looked kind of cool, and I knew that I'd be able to cover it with more bits and just kind of secure everything later. And I actually did put some big, like, shin pad plates on the legs immediately, but I didn't want to completely cover the thing in bits until I had it positioned on the base and had like the position of the legs and the pose glued in. Now, to do the base, I wanted to have some bits and some buildup, and the go-to for this is usually milliput or green stuff, but I always kind of just like using either of those for this sort of task because they take quite a long time to harden. That's great if you're sculpting stuff, but if I'm just making a big mound that I want to squish stuff into, or I want to secure a piece in place, I want something that is almost immediate so that it hardens right away and I can just keep moving without worrying about disturbing stuff. So I went to Home Depot and I found this stuff, which is called Fix-It Stick, and it's a 2-part epoxy, just like milliput or green stuff. It's not in separate pieces. It has a core, which is kind of convenient because you can just cut it the amount you need and then it's really easy to mix up. But the nice thing about it is that it cures really, really fast. You got like 5-10 minutes working time, which is exactly what I want for this sort of task. Now, the great thing is that this is cheap. A 4-ounce tube only cost me like $11, which is very comparable to, say, milliput. If you go to buy it at the hardware store, don't actually look in the glue. You actually got to look in the plumbing section. That's where you'll find it. So I had the feet glued onto the base, but the legs were still all movable. So I just posed it how I wanted it and dripped in glue and got it staying in one static position that I really liked. And then from there, I could actually just keep decorating the thing, adding more bits, hiding the parts of the legs I didn't like, and just enhancing them in other ways. I found a lot of bits that were mirrored pieces from the tank kit that I cut up. And this was nice because it let me make both of the legs symmetrical. And I'm pretty happy with the way shaving down those Gundam legs and then covering them with other bits turned out. It's probably not the most practical or efficient way of doing things. It might have been better to just scratch build some legs in the end. Actually today, after doing this, ordered some plastic hard tubes and square tubes because I didn't have any. So next time I might go that route. Finally, the positioning and the legs were all good, so I could finalize the top. And there was a lot of good options. I actually had a really hard time deciding what pieces to use on the top, but I really liked this one canister that had a nuclear symbol on it. I just thought it looked really cool and suited the sort of style of the mech and the kind of like 90s video game that I pictured this thing living in the Mech 28 arena kind of world. So that's what I went with. I just kept going with some more, and finally I said, hey, yeah, I like the way this looks, it's done. And I glued on a bunch of basing material. And now it's ready for primer. I really like it. It's really fun. It used a lot of neat pieces. I especially like the little keyboard pieces that I used to cover some spots. And I also feel good because I utilized quite a few of the bits that were in the bag that Bill gave me with this Gundam kit. So I don't know, I felt nice making use of all that. You know, if someone goes through the trouble of creating a little kit for people, good to know that it actually gets used. Anyway, tomorrow I'm gonna paint this thing and yeah, I gotta decide on a color scheme. I know that I'm gonna want it to be something kind of fun and weird. So, what colors do you think I should paint this?